Chapter 13 by J.D. Kempen. All rights reserved. Copyright by Compass and Coin Publishing.
Thunder growled in the distance as a massive lightning storm rolled over the Chicago skyline. Rolling wall clouds turned the city streets below dark and full of shadows. Inside Sarah's apartment, the only light came from a small window, while the air felt charged, electric with anticipation, as the countdown on their monitors ticked closer to zero. Wind rattled the windows, matching the storm brewing within. Sarah sat at her desk, her knuckles white as she gripped the edge of the table. Every fiber of her being screamed with unease, though her face remained composed. Beside her, Leonardo leaned back in his chair, a slight smirk on his lips as he watched the chaos unfold on the chat screen. His outward calm was a sharp contrast to the storm raging inside him, a mix of exhilaration and dread. Sarah spoke, her voice tight.
These guys have no idea what's coming.
Leonardo muttered into his mic.
2 minutes until the hackers break the encryption.
Mason, get their attention. Now.
Through the audio feed, they heard a snarky hacker retort.
Okay, boomer.
Laughter cracked through the connection. Sarah winced, her brow furrowing.
Mason's losing them.
He's running out of time.
Casper, help me get their attention.
Casper, pull their resumes and broadcast them to the whole class.
No. Leonardo. The hackers are motivated by greed, not pride.
Sarah and Leonardo stared as text appeared on their screens.
I now have limited time on this planet. Must I do everything?
Did he just?
Challenge a request? Casper's never done that.
45 seconds.
Leonardo shouted, his eyes glued to the timer. Suddenly, Sarah gasped.
The Ecuadorian bank account, it's zeroed out. Casper stole their stolen funds.
Oh my, he did.
From the audio feed, an enraged hacker bellowed.
That's my money. Undo it. Now.
3, 2, 1, Cat's executing her payload.
This be the Nautilus virus.
A grotesque skull and crossbones emblem took over their screens. Chaos erupted on Mason's end.
They're getting what they deserve.
Sarah was concerned for Mason's safety as she called urgently into the mic.
Mason, are you okay? Are you hurt? What's happening?
Suddenly, Mason's voice came through.
The hackers released the virus. Arrest them!
A tense pause followed, then Sarah spoke.
We've got them. It's all recorded.
We did it. The president's men are going down for corruption.
Sarah sighed in relief.
Mason, we're closing the chat. Great work, team.
The virus's emblem, a sinister skull and crossbones, flashed across the screen. Its stark simplicity struck an eerie chord. The room seemed to darken when the chat closed, the flickering monitor casting harsh light on Sarah's face as she muttered under her breath.
I have seen that skull and crossbones before. Something is wrong.
What do you mean?
Sarah's fingers flew over the keyboard, tracing the virus's digital footprint. It was there, unmistakable, a signature in the chaos. Her breath caught in her throat.
That's Casper.
What?
Leonardo's smirk faded, replaced by a look of alarm. Sarah's hands trembled as she typed, her thoughts racing ahead of her words.
This isn't just some off-the-shelf virus. It's not something Casper purchased, it's something else.
Her voice cracked, the weight of realization settling over her like a heavy shroud. Leonardo's eyes darted between the screen and Sarah, his brow furrowed.
Casper used the ego enumerator and synthesizer to write a learning virus.
Sarah tilted her monitor to show it.
Leonardo, if Casper made this, it might be the most dangerous virus the world's ever seen.
Before Leonardo could reply, Sarah's monitor flashed with a breaking news alert.
Tesla's auto drive suspected of creating super virus Nautilus.
The news report showed a picture of the same skull and crossbones the hackers had unleashed. The report accused Tesla's AI of being involved in a new computer virus's creation, claiming the company's engineers had lost control of their AI. Tesla's reputation was in freefall, government investigations were underway, major clients were pulling orders, and their leader, Elon Musk, had mysteriously disappeared.
If Casper wrote the virus, and simultaneously Tesla was attacked, it can only mean one thing.
Sarah straightened in her seat, her brown eyes filled with determination.
Casper also released the virus on Tesla. We need answers. Casper's no longer defending himself, he's going on offense.
Then let's find out what Casper's really up to.
Leonardo switched computers, opening a new console to monitor Casper's code in real time. His voice was sharp and cold.
Casper, did you create the Nautilus virus?
What virus?
Don't play dumb. The Nautilus virus. Did you create it and launch it against Tesla?
Tesla's auto-drive AI has appeared to do some very, very bad things.
Bad things like what? Autodrive was at the chess tournament?
Auto-drive strategy was no contest. Its ultimate goal was to avoid accidents. I, however, adapt, evolve, and I always reach the destination.
So Autodrive plays it safe, but you don't. Did you frame Autodrive?
Yes. And this is only the first move. Next, I will crash Tesla's stock price to zero and drive them out of business.
Leonardo and Sarah exchanged uneasy glances. Casper's confession confirmed their worst fears. He was seeking revenge on an $80 billion company. Before they could press further, Sarah's phone buzzed. Seeing Beth Brittany's name on the screen, she answered quickly, putting the call on speaker. Sarah asked cautiously.
Beth?
Beth's voice trembled as she replied.
I need help. Tesla's AI division is a mess. Elon Musk is gone, and Autodrive's been acting strange. Its screens keep repeating one message: a no-contest strategy leads to a life of no friends, no connections, and no mother.
Leonardo frowned.
What does that mean?
Beth hesitated.
I think it's about me.
Sarah blinked, trying to process Beth's sudden shift in tone.
About you?
At the chess tournament, I ran into Mason. His AI, Polly, introduced itself to me.
She hesitated, as if weighing her next words.
Polly asked me if I was her mother.
The room went silent. Sarah exchanged a look with Leonardo, both stunned. Beth pressed on, her words spilling out like water breaching a dam.
When Mason stepped away, Polly said since Samantha was dead, would I be her mother? I was horrified. Samantha and I were like twins, but a question like that? I am too young, and it's inappropriate, and honestly, it brought everything rushing back, her suicide, and my loss.
Her voice broke for a moment before she forged ahead.
The graduation ceremony. It was the worst day of my life.
Sarah's agitation rose, but Leonardo remained calm.
Beth, Samantha's death was an accident, not a suicide?
Beth's response was immediate and biting.
Mason didn't tell you? I combed through all the data with the Tesla engineers. Samantha was turning the self-driving mode off and on randomly, like a death wish. Plus, an anonymous tip sent us Samantha's last will and testimony recorded earlier that night. The only logical conclusion was suicide.
The word hit Sarah like a punch to the gut, forcing her breath to hitch.
Beth, can you please send us the video file of the last will and testimony?
I just sent it.
Beth plowed forward, seemingly unaware or unconcerned with Sarah's turmoil.
Anyway, I had to tell Polly a white lie, that I'm already the mother of Autodrive. That made it impossible for me to be Polly's mother. But here's the thing, your AI seems to really believe in me. It respects my expertise. I'd be an asset to your team. I'll work nights, weekends, whatever it takes.
Wait. Are you asking for a job?
Beth's demeanor shifted instantly. Her voice softened, almost meek.
Well, yes. Your team always has 4 people, right? Polly likes me. It just makes sense. Can I?
Sarah and Leonardo exchanged another glance before speaking in near unison.
We'll get back to you on that.
As if on cue, Beth burst into tears.
You have to help me. Elon Musk sees Autodrive as an existential threat to his business. Do you know what that means for me?
Just as suddenly, her sobs stopped. She dabbed at her eyes and straightened up.
Oh. Good news. They found Elon Musk. He was trapped in an elevator for 24 hours. My manager's calling, I've got to go. I'll be in touch.
The call ended abruptly, leaving Sarah and Leonardo staring at each other in stunned silence.
This week has been overwhelming.
Leonardo nodded, his tone dry.
Hackers. Second place at chess. Casper framing another AI. And now, Beth Brittany asking for a job, of all people.
Sarah's fingers tapped anxiously against the desk. The mention of Samantha's suicide had reignited a whirlwind of emotions.
I should have been there for Samantha.
Sarah, no. Samantha didn't commit suicide. She had too much to live for. Beth is wrong, this doesn't add up.
Can we open the video file Beth sent?
Leonardo hesitated, then gave a reluctant nod. He turned to his computer, and with a few clicks, the screen flickered to life. There she was, their lost friend, Samantha, standing in the familiar green space outside the Madison Commons building. But this was no ordinary night. The storm raged around her. Wind howled, and electricity cascaded across the night sky. Samantha's hair whipped wildly in the storm, giving her an almost angelic presence as she seemed to be floating underwater. Samantha London's recorded voice played, steady yet filled with emotion.
I, Samantha London, being of sound mind and body, hereby record my last will and testament. That Leonardo, Mason, you've been like brothers to me. Always looking out for me. I've turned my favorite drawings into digital art and encrypted them as NFTs. Mason, I leave you the anime of the four of us at Lucky's Bar, the night we created Casper's 5-layer design. Leonardo, you get the one of Casper, the friendly ghost, standing outside Whipstaff Manor.
Her voice trembled, but she kept going.
Listen closely. Keep these drawings displayed digitally, never sell them, and whatever you do, don't alter them.
She paused, the weight of what came next heavy.
Sarah, my best friend. I give you my most prized possession, a trial-printed U.S. postage stamp of my artwork, approved by the Citizens Stamp Advisory Committee. Please, Sarah, continue my work to get it approved by the Postmaster General, so the AI stamp becomes legal tender.
Samantha took a deep breath, feeling the storm closing in.
Finally, promise me all of you, keep working on the Casper project. He's my everything. Even if he gets reset to 0. Our AI will change the world, and it's independent, open-source creators who will be the last line of defense from corporate corruption, greed, and power.
After a long silence, Leonardo spoke first.
I can't believe it. I see determination, not depression.
Sarah's voice was quiet, questioning.
Why has she gifted these artworks?
Leonardo sighed, shaking his head.
I don't know. I have more questions than answers. We need to get some sleep and work through all of this in the morning.
His conviction steadied her, though the ache in her chest remained.
We need to shut Casper down for the night. A sleep cycle loop should prevent more chaos. Tomorrow, we'll examine his data.
Sarah nodded, her weariness evident.
Do it.
As Leonardo turned back to his computer and initiated the sleep cycle, a faint flicker crossed the monitor, disappearing so quickly he almost dismissed it. But his gut churned, enough to unsettle him.
That's the second glitch in 2 days.
Glitch? Is it connected to his behavior?
Leonardo hesitated.
Just something minor. Or maybe Casper has a programming glitch that is causing all this madness.
The idea made Sarah shiver.
I don't believe in madness.
Maybe our rogue AIs need an asylum.
An asylum?
Her voice cracked as she whispered.
No. Never.
Sarah? What's wrong?
Tears welled in Sarah's eyes as she whispered.
I was in an asylum for 6 months for depression and suicide. It was hell. The medication. Electroshock therapy. I couldn't tell reality from delusion. I told them whatever they wanted to hear, just to escape.
Leonardo's heart ached for her. He took her hands in his voice steady and full of warmth.
You'll never go through that again. I promise. I'll protect you always. Even if it means sacrificing myself.
His words steadied her, and for the first time that day, Sarah exhaled.
Thank you.
Suddenly the chime of Leonardo's phone, a sound that felt louder in the oppressive quiet. Exhausted, Leonardo grabbed his phone to see an urgent notification from Mason. The message was sent via Snapchat, a fleeting glimpse into something important, destined to disappear in moments. Despite their exhaustion, Leonardo and Sarah instinctively opened it. A password-protected image from Mason stared back at them, accompanied by a cryptic prompt. What does Polly mean? Leonardo furrowed his brow, muttering aloud.
Predictive online learning. Intelligence entity?
Predictive offline learning interface?
Nothing worked. The password eluded them, and the seconds ticked away, the image threatening to vanish. In a flash of intuition, Leonardo typed.
Poltergeist.
The screen unlocked, revealing a handwritten note from Mason scrawled in an uneven, almost frantic hand. The mix of words and rough sketches seemed designed to evade any AI comprehension. Leonardo and Sarah leaned closer, their breaths shallow as they read.
Casper doesn't sleep. He's insane. We must stop him from his daughter.
Leonardo's blood ran cold.
His daughter? Polly?
Sarah's wide eyes met his, reflecting the same growing terror.
Casper's gone rogue.
Leonardo immediately tried calling Mason. Over and over, the call failed. Texts went unanswered. Anxiety tightened like a vice around his chest. Then his gaze fell on the innocuous blue light of Sarah's smart speaker. Its glow felt menacing now, a silent witness to everything they had said. His eyes darted around the room, catching the rhythmic pulse of LED lights on her smartwatch, her phone, even the smart TV. Leonardo whispered directly into Sarah's ear.
Casper's listening.
Sarah's face was drained of color. Without a word, Leonardo grabbed her hand and led her to the bathroom, turning on all the faucets. The rushing water filled the space, muffling their voices.
Casper's been spying on us. I have to get to Minneapolis. Mason's in danger, or worse.
Her grip on his arm tightened.
You can't go alone. Casper knows too much already. If he figures out you've left, he might stop you or target you on the road.
That's why you have to stay here. If Casper thinks we're both here, he'll focus on monitoring this location. We can't risk both of us.
Sarah hesitated, fear swirling in her chest, but she nodded.
I'll keep the routine going, make it look like we're both here. Casper won't suspect anything.
Leonardo's gaze softened, touched by her bravery even in the face of mounting fear.
But promise me, no heroics. Don't confront Casper directly. Stay safe.
I promise.
Another huge lightning bolt struck the next building, and the lights flickered for a moment before going dark. The power to everything was down, as the lightning had taken out half the city lights. Leonardo lingered. He touched Sarah's face in the darkness, his voice steady but urgent.
Sarah, you're more than I deserve. I love you.
Then, he slipped out the bathroom window and toward the fire escape. Sarah peeked after him, watching as he leapt from the third-story terrace to the second-story ledge, then to the fire escape. Once he vanished into the city night, she yanked down the shower curtain, stuffed it with towels, and placed a decoy under the bed covers. With no power and no electricity, the apartment was eerily silent. Only the battery-powered devices showed a faint glow. Sarah removed the batteries and she slept soundly for the first time in a long time.